All right. We are live. Hey, Link does have sound.
I do. This happened last time we did a show together. I wait for you to cue me in. I don't want to start talking over you. Hey guys, welcome.
Yeah, it's just I was worried people were gonna thought you were just miming there at the start without sound. I was gonna have to click you
You
in.
see B movie? My daughter asked me to go,
There you go. Now you're covered.
but it's probably
She's
only fun.
she's at school watching live on her phone, right?
Right.
How you doing this morning?
Hey, and thank you for having me back. I'm doing really well.
Mm.
This is such a cool both memory and nostalgia experience. You're my
Yeah.
first interview, bro. So coming back on the show, this is a big highlight for me. So I'm super well. Thank you.
Before this, I meant to go back and rewatch your old video just to kind of remember what we talked about, but of
I
course I
thought
didn't have
about
time.
doing that too,
Yeah,
but I don't like watching myself on video.
that's true. Yeah, it would have been hard.
I was making new
But
stuff.
what's that?
I was working on new stuff. So
Yeah. Mm. The thing about it though was just that I do remember. I think I said it live. I do remember that at the end of the video, I remember saying like we could have talked a bunch more because then we've got to like a small handful of things that I wanted to talk to you about, and like you had a whole
but
bunch of interesting stories and stuff that you were sharing. So
I talk a lot. So as you know,
yeah, it's
sorry,
good.
bro. My bad. I'll try to stay more on topic and keep it concise. I've had a
Okay.
couple more years experience now, so I'll do my best.
Well, I don't know. It all works out as long as it's interesting then. And you had, like I said, we're sharing a bunch of really cool and interesting stories about stuff from Japan. But what I want to do in this video, because last time we talked a whole bunch about, mostly because you were
Yeah.
new to YouTube at the time, we talked a lot about just like your time in Japan. But in this
Yes.
video, I want to talk about basically your time since our last interview. So basically, like your
Sure.
experience
Sure.
there
It's
doing all of
It's
that
been
stuff.
big.
Mhm.
It's really been like a roller coaster, but mostly going up. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been big. 3 years. I just went past my 3-year anniversary. I think in the previous a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
for my very first box, opening video on YouTube. It was really bad, but
Yeah.
yeah, yes, so much has happened. It's been really, really good.
Mm. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, you just posted that the other day for the video, the 3-year video. So I thought, yeah, it's a really good time to have our interview after just 3 years. We can talk a little bit about that. You're pretty well experienced now. Uh,
So I know I wasn't supposed to laugh right then, but creators know what we mean, right? Oh, I'm experienced now. Yeah,
yeah,
but it's been good. It's been really different going from the studio side to the creator side. But worth it too. I've really had a good time.
and now on the way back to the studio, you want to talk about your
Yeah,
plan?
yeah. It's I've been on YouTube long enough to graduate from YouTube. But I'm not, and that was a joke. Just But how do I structure this? This is what I really struggle with. I mean,
Mm.
how
Well,
to ex
what's going to be the changes to your physical space?
Okay.
Yes.
So, Zach knows a bit of the background to this. So
Yeah.
the previous 3 years have worked really well. It's been super successful, and I'd really thank the YouTube platform for being, one of the key players in helping me, get my work seen, and developing support, etc. So YouTube's been fantastic in that, and of course the community. Thank you very much, guys. You guys have been just absolutely phenomenal. Um, and that was the big change. I had to go
Mm.
from being a studio-owned uh, modeler, and
Uh,
we call that more. I've learned since then. I can't call it professional modeling because that encompasses folks who do commission works, etc., which is fine. I have to say it more in the Japanese sense of it, and they have just two terms. There's okyakusan and gyosha, and
mm.
okyakusan means customers. You've probably
Yeah,
heard that before, right? When
yeah,
you're
yeah.
there, customer, and gyosha is when you've crossed that line and gone over to the industry side.
Uh,
Involved in the industry. So that was probably uh, a good way to explain it. Better than saying professional modeler. It's quite broad.
mm.
In that time, though, I've been able to reestablish myself with my Japanese. My old what do we call them? They weren't partners; they were overlords.
Mm, mm,
Owners. I've been able to reestablish myself with them.
mm,
They've been quite surprised about it all. That
mm.
you know, they expected me to fade off into obscurity once I moved
Yeah.
to Australia, but
Mm,
when I popped back up there with the
mm,
Hobbyco team, hey Ryan, in tow, they were really surprised. They were like,
mm,
you know, that the word of mouth got around and
mm.
then came back to me. They said, "Hey, we heard you're here and you're some kind of big shot now." And
Ah,
I'm not. I just the
yeah.
Hobbyco guys asked that I dress well instead of my
Mm,
usual. So
yeah.
I'm just dressed better and helping them tee things up. But yeah, the ride on YouTube has helped me to reestablish
Mm,
those connections, but from a different point of view. So I'm
mm,
now working with those same Japanese companies now and helping them
mm,
get the message out in English now.
mm,
And they see a big value in that too. So
mm.
that's really cool. The and YouTube has brought me back to be. How do I say that? Let me get. I'm getting all excited and babbling again. Sorry, Zach. The
Oh,
YouTube has helped me to get back to publishing.
yeah.
It wasn't the goal.
Mm,
Beginning, I thought, wow, making videos. This sounds like a really good idea,
mm,
um, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a very powerful way to share content, um, certain types of content. But as I got better at it, I could start to feel that there were some gaps in what I could share,
mm,
especially per time.
mm,
Um, some of the model finishes I make are quite complex,
mm.
and I found that very hard to fit into a 10-15 minute video.
Yeah.
So, thought, okay, maybe I need to start taking some more photos about photos,
Mm,
step by steps, which of course means publication.
mm,
And then when I started talking with the people I'd worked with in the past, I was pitching my idea of a book to them,
mm,
and they countered with a better offer. They said, actually, we have this property. One of them has their flagship series of books. We
mm.
don't have a sci-fi version yet. Our staff are telling us you're the monkey to make this happen.
Yeah.
And so it's a much bigger project than I was pitching them. And of course, I said,
Mm,
yeah, that'd be great. So that's
mm,
the version two. I hope that
mm,
was long, Zach, but
mm,
that's where it's gone. It's gone from learning videos, doing that, and then coming back to team
mm,
up more industry side work again.
mm,
So that will be starting to pump out with version two from next year.
mm. So it's
Sorry
kind of
about
like you.
that. I did
Uh,
it again, didn't I?
well, very much explained it. It's kind of like you were like already a professional, and then you went back to college to learn some
Yeah,
new skill, and then apply
yeah,
that, and now like kind
yeah.
of getting back to it. But
That's actually a really good way to explain it. Thank you.
mm,
It's kind of YouTube's like the master's degree of
yeah,
industry side modeling, isn't it?
yeah,
Because you learn a lot doing YouTube
yeah,
videos. Am I
mm,
right? I mean,
yeah.
and you're the master at that. And again,
Uh,
congratulations on 100K, man, and the play
thank
button.
you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I've got it in the box.
Hey,
I haven't found a good place to hang it up yet.
smash the button,
I'll
man.
find a good place. I'm waiting on some stuff to kind of rearrange the space here, and then we'll find a good place for it. But uh, yeah, what I was gonna say was just that I think, yeah, I've also wondered about myself about using the term professional because it's like there's different kinds of I think professionals, but I think it's in
Right,
your case, I would say it's totally fair to still use the term professional, but it's different than the type of professional that you were before. Before
right,
you were a professional
right.
modeler, now you're a professional content creator or just creator or
Yes,
something you could say.
yes. Thank you, Zach. That's a really good way to think about it. Thank you. I've got to be honest. I prefer this version now. I didn't think I would, but
Mm,
having a little bit more self ownership,
mm,
self being able to choose things. It's more stressful, of course, because we need to be right.
yeah.
But having that a little bit more freedom of choice of
Mm,
creative content, it's pretty cool.
yeah. Definitely. It's definitely a double-edged sword.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. Wake up in the morning. Oh, is this going to be good or not? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, all of my coworkers at my school, because I just recently quit being a teacher to do this full time now
Right,
as
right,
well.
right, right. And again, congratulations, bro. We the timing's actually very good for both of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hard work's paying off. Congratulations on going full
Oh,
time.
well, thank you. But yeah, my all my coworkers and like my wife's family and stuff, they're all like, "Oh, we're so jealous of you. You can just enjoy your free time now." It's like I'm not free now.
Yeah,
Like I'm working more now than I was like as a
yeah,
teacher. Like, and it's a
yeah.
lot more like planning involved of like now that I'm free, I can do anything that I want. I have to choose, okay, what am I gonna do specifically to maximize the time? So
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's a very different, kind of feed the beast,
Hmm.
situation. You can imagine, I hear it a lot, and they're from friends who mean well. The most common one is, "I wish I could get paid to paint models all day." And,
Yeah.
of course, I'd like to say back to that, "So do I. So would I." I would
Yeah.
I would love that because it's a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh
of course, yeah.
in fact, the actual painting of the models is a small percentage of what I'm
Mhm.
actually able to do because it's the content production that pays
Yep,
for it.
yep,
But that's
yep.
also exciting to learn,
Mm.
and then trying to make a living and not go broke doing it, that's exciting.
Yeah, well, it's this struggle, but like, like the person or people you're talking about say, it's nice to be able to still just get paid to do your hobby, even if it involves a lot more than painting. It's
Right,
still a lot
right.
more fun than
If I can, I'm not
art.
sure this will make complete sense because I don't know how to explain it to myself yet, but
Yeah.
I'm finally getting the feels back for what I do. I know it might sound
Mm,
odd because I was so nervous in the first 3 years. I
mm,
really felt the crushing pressure of performing on YouTube. You know,
mhm.
I know I'm not telling you anything new, but
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I think a
next
lot of
video,
people.
next video, next video. So I had that feeling. So it was more focused on that production and
Mhm,
getting the models just ready in time. So it was more of a production process. Um,
mhm,
whereas this folk care project that I'm working on now, I've had a little bit more time and freedom to work on it. I'm
mm.
really feeling it. It's like it's a feeling I've actually not had since about, I'd say, my best models I was making in about 2012
Yeah,
because
I
I
was
had
gonna say, when's the last time that you spent this long on a model kit?
yeah, yeah, it'd be about 2012,
Yeah.
and when I was making those models that made it into the greatest hits version of the Weathering magazine,
Mm,
uh, each one of them became iconic
mhm,
for that type of model. So
mhm.
this full cap, I was just taking some shots of it. That's what my little setup there for.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting those feels back that I'm making good work. Like
Mhm.
I'm liking it too. So
But
that's that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, the new studio and the upgrade to Sydney and things like that are pretty cool. But
mhm,
the little boy version on the inside, making plastic models,
mhm.
getting the feels back, that's
Yeah.
been really big.
Where you're making, like, you can tell that you're making your really, like, top class, like, professional master works compared to, like, other videos before, like, your videos with, like, the Barbatos and the other past couple Mad Kit kits that you've done. Were those videos and, like, those projects, of course, very informative for people and good for people to see, and you're sharing useful information and all of that.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, if it's something that you're just working on just for a short time, that you just wanna show maybe some specific steps in those videos,
Yeah,
it's not something that you're working on as, like, a full-on thing of, like, really
right, right.
pushing yourself to the
And
best.
my videographer skills not high enough. I still to capture everything that I needed to say about certain models, so I
Yeah,
would be overbuilding for
yeah.
the project. Uh,
Mhm,
but this one, because I get to put it into a book,
mhm.
I can go like, what's the right word? Like flat out? Is that the right way to say it? I can hit
Yeah.
it full speed.
Yeah, yeah, I guess,
That's how it feels. It feels
yeah.
like I can now run full speed again.
Mm,
Uh, Boy, and it feels really good.
yeah.
So next year, I've got a bunch of big projects, including a
Mm,
bunch of Doppler ones that I
mm,
can run full speed at and
mm,
really hit them hard. And
mm,
it's really exciting. It was worth the hard work, definitely.
mhm.
Mm.
So, just
So,
real quick for
mm,
anyone who's not a part of the robots or maybe who's not as familiar with your work and your plans, things like that, what's the expected date or publication of the book? Kind of what's the plan for that?
Christmas 2020, the end of next year,
Okay.
we can make that. Uh,
Mm,
I haven't actually talked about it much. People have been
mm,
pretty. People just know that it's a book coming.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I looked at. There's no NDA or anything.
Mm,
The publishers are really cool with it.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure how much of that I should talk about because I
Well,
don't
that's
want.
alright.
You know what I mean? I don't want to make the poor guys sound unprofessional. They were just so happy
Yeah,
to partner with me.
yeah.
Um, and I'm very grateful to them. And they're like, no, 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 thank you, Linc. And I'm like, yeah, no one else says that. Thank you. But it's so it's going to be a relatively big one. I might
Mm,
need to get some collaborations in there as well in case I miss some things with the content. I
mm,
want to show a handful of finishes, including full airbrush steps for a model,
mhm,
full airbrush steps for a model, how to use a hybrid approach and mix them. And it's meant to be like an A to Z sort of how to for sci-fi. This
mm,
challenging though. I'm not sure if this
mm,
is off topic, but for example, the same publisher has that kind of title for
uh-huh,
AFV, tank
uh-huh,
models,
uh,
figure painting, dioramas. Each of those is a more standalone topic.
mm,
Trouble is with sci-fi, man, we have so much breadth with what we
yeah,
do.
it's a little bit too vague of a
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, how many people out there actually can do really high level, Machine Krieger and Gunpla and like Star Wars? It's actually quite
mhm,
hard to have
yeah,
the skills to cover all of them. Most people just tend to do one or two quite well. Even
mhm,
some of my buddies who are really high, the most famous Gunpla modelers, their Machine Krieger stuff doesn't quite look right.
uh,
It looks like Gunpla.
yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah.
Gunpla, but you know what I mean, right? It's got a
Yeah, 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 sure. This
different aesthetic. So that's a big challenge, but I'm
mm,
sorry that went long, but that's what it is. It's more of it's
no,
an overview book. I
mm.
don't think I'm gonna be successful because in covering everything for
Yeah,
sci-fi.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
so
this
what mm,
what
what
I'm
are the
sorry, bro, go on.
go ahead. No, you can finish your thought, and I'll ask you.
What I see happening
Yeah,
is that, uh, when I say I won't be successful, I still
mm,
think the book is gonna be really good because the actual
mm.
content in it will be fantastic. It's
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
the most complicated, good things with a good Japanese, take on it as well that's
Mhm,
not been published in English before. That
mm,
part will be pure gold,
yeah,
but, covering the breadth of sci-fi will be nigh impossible. So I'm
mm,
hoping with the negative feedback, it will inspire the publisher to understand that we actually need to do, follow-up publications.
a lot more. Well,
Yeah.
so what I was gonna ask was just, aside from the Falc that you're working on now, what other kits are going to be included in the book, do you know? Maybe or just properties in general?
Sure, sure. Gunpla,
Yeah,
Star Wars, and a little bit of Warhammer are the properties I want to do.
okay.
Now, these may change, but the kits I'm excited about are like, especially for our Gunpla audience, because I've been holding back on Gunpla. I knew new
Mm,
cool kits were coming. I
yeah.
want to do a really cool beat up and authentically weathered Barbatos, the new MG kit.
The new MG? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's the first MG, first IBO. Um, I am a Barbatos fan.
Mhm,
I know it's different for different people. I quite
mhm.
like how they look because it's so aesthetically different from the
Uh-huh.
Machine Creek look, for example.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm,
that one, the having an opportunity to do a beat up version, and Barbatos gets pretty beat up in the show, right?
yeah, for sure. And that can actually be quite useful because 'cause you've got reference material from the, screenshots from the show you can use for kind of the general look of that.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll try to pick a place apart in the timeline there that would work for it. So that's what I'm excited
Mhm,
about. I'm
mhm,
not sure if I'll have time to finish it, but the I haven't heard it said out loud, and
mm.
I'm always nervous of saying things wrong. But the new version KA for FAS, do we say FAS?
Yeah, Faz, yeah,
We do say FAS. Cool.
yeah.
Um,
'Cause there's a
I
difference between the full armor double Zeta and the Faz is
right,
actually 2
right.
different molds, yeah.
I really like the look of that one.
Yeah.
It's pleasing looking mecha to me,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
especially it's mecha taken just a little too far because it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
it's so bulky, chunky. So
Yeah.
that look to me is
Mm,
kind of cool, and sticking with a clean, precise
mm,
look for that one, I thought
mhm.
that might be a good example for that.
Yeah.
Uh, One I'm considering, just because it's different, but I'm not sure about a HG kit, is, the new industrial version. What's
Yeah. Mhm.
the name? I think you've done a video. No, no, not yet. It was the Bandai video I was watching,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on YouTube. I like the idea behind it,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
but then I look at the kid as well, and I'm like, dude, it looks a bit different from
Yeah.
grandpa.
Yeah, it's not very
But
aesthetically pleasing, I would say.
the ideas behind it are cool. So
Yeah.
from a design perspective, I get it, but
Mhm.
that's a possibility. But they're going to bring us an MG version of that, right?
Well, I hope not, but we'll see.
But it's just for photography.
Yeah.
For I know you know.
Yeah.
This for our friends watching, the
Yeah.
1/144 scale kits are fantastic for YouTube because that's about what we can see on the screen, right, as we're painting
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
up
Mhm.
really well. But for still photography, especially if you're going to put it on paper, I
Yep.
think 1/100s as a minimum size look a little bit better, don't they? They photograph better.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see what you mean, just like the size, especially the framing of them for
Yes,
that it can be difficult, yeah.
that's why our buddies at uh, GHL,
Mhm, mhm.
mostly all of their main work, they do say
Yep.
4 or 5 per publication,
Yeah.
always 1/100 scale. They just
Mhm,
photograph better. Light kind of
mhm.
sits on them a little bit better.
Yeah, just them being just a little bit larger, they can
Yeah,
get a little bit
yeah,
more on them, yeah.
exactly.
Uh, yeah,
I hope the rates weren't
and
too long, but they're the ones I'm thinking of so far.
okay, I would just say that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a little bit sad that you're not including anything from Kotobukiya.
Okay. I I have a project on the go with them,
I got it. Frame
so
Arms Girl.
it's my full weeb life is nigh complete.
Yes.
So it's one of the reasons you haven't seen Kotobukiya content in my content
Okay,
is because I've got some deals happening with them.
okay.
Um, One of my old buddies
Mhm.
is one of the boss guys who I was absolutely. Do you remember, guys? Everybody watching, do you remember that video Zach and I did on the streets of Shizuoka? And you remember the condition we were in? Imagine that, but I'm at a party and it's a Machine and Krieger after party thing, and I didn't know it was one of the Kotobukiya boss guys. So we'd had a few drinks. We became the best mates. I had no idea who he was. Turns
Uh,
out he's that guy. But
okay.
they'd like that sort of take on it.
Uh,
Um, they're I just don't know how to. Anyway, that's a separate topic. I like some of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? There,
Frame Arms Girl, the girl, Mecha
yeah,
Musume Kids? Yeah.
right. Frame arms, Megami device. I like
Mhm.
the look of them, but I know I'm going to get absolutely. The interwebs will probably not be kind with my fall to weebdom. But,
I guess.
it's money, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I get that too. Usually, every time I do a review of one of those kids, there's always someone in the comments like, "Was
Yeah,
this grown man playing with the girl doll or something like that?" But
yeah. As opposed to the fake robots. Yeah,
yeah.
um, the funny thing is too, even when you're talking with the Kotobukiya executives, they
Uh,
get excited about it because the business is that one's great for them, right?
yeah,
Frame
yeah,
But every couple of minutes, one of them feels the need to say, "Oh, I'm personally not into this."
yeah. Really?
But then they talk about it in such an excited way about the
Yeah, yeah,
storyline and everything, so they're totally into it.
yeah. Anyway, uh, that well, I'm excited to hear what the news is that you're working on about that with them. And just really quick, I want to just address the people who are watching in the chat because someone asked a question. I just want to let you guys know, those of you guys that are watching live, now that after we've talked for about an hour, so after another 30 minutes or so, maybe, then we'll answer some questions from you guys. So just if you have questions, and just hang out with those for another 30 minutes or so, and then we'll answer some questions. But just to answer Kenneth's question real quick, Link, will the book be published in multiple
One
languages?
super quick shout out, please.
Yes?
Because this was so awesome because one of the pop robots, Mike Skyers. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Otherwise I don't get a chance to voice with the poor guy, right? He went
It's
all the way from Canada to the sorry, I just realized that I was digging a hole as soon as I was into that. The recent recent competition that shall not be named.
ah,
Is it cool if I say it real quick? But yeah, the new type thingy. But
yeah.
Mike won it apparently. I was saying
Uh,
congratulations because the build was amazing. So
mm,
Machining won it, and
mhm.
one of my buddies. So just because he's watching and he made the comment, super excited for MG Barbatos stuff, Linc Sensei.
Mm,
I just wanted to say, yeah, congratulations, Mike. I only just recently found out that you actually won,
mm.
which is amazing. You know, pop robots represent.
Very nice. Yeah.
Sorry,
Good.
bro.
Good.
Totally
No,
hijacked.
perfectly fine. But the book language, so just going to be in English.
Yes, English and well, is this a spoiler? And Spanish.
Hmm. Probably a spoiler, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that narrows down the field, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So far we've signed for English, Spanish, but this publisher also has a deal with Model Art in.
Mm.
Do you remember we visited them when we were together at Shizuoka? Model Art was the guys right up the other end in front of Tamiya.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
those
they're
guys.
doing the demo. The
They
paint.
reprint their stuff, so it probably will be in Japanese as well,
Okay,
which would
cool.
be really interesting for me to
Yeah.
go back that way from
Yeah.
English to Japanese.
Yeah.
And I think I have tie-ups in China too. What languages are people looking for?
Those of you guys in the chat, if you have any other languages, shout them out. But I'm sure English, Spanish, Japanese probably covers it. I don't really know. That's the majority of my audience. So
Yeah. But I mean,
yeah.
English, and it's one of the reasons they're happy to work with me because this will be their first book that's written in almost native English.
Hmm.
I'm Aussie, so my English is a bit off.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
I'll do my best. I'll get real English speakers to help me.
Mm. Canadian English, Mike said.
Yeah, I know,
There
right?
you go. So as for your studio space, did you want to? We kind of talked about
Yes.
your move and kind of how you're, but you want to talk about just like what you've got planned for your space there that you're going to be working in?
Okay, so the first plan, and this is very important. It's key and subtle, is to actually have a dedicated workspace.
Mm-hmm. That
I
would be good.
as silly as that sounds, I mean, when we first came back here, I knew the basic plan of what I was doing, but I didn't know that it
Mm-hmm.
would work. I knew I had a bit of I had an unusual value proposition to offer the world, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't know if it's going to work, do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You make it and test it. So
Yeah.
I definitely I'd like to have a separate room. I need a separate video shoot space as well as a photograph shoot space because
Mm-hmm.
they're quite different requirements.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm also super jealous. I'm going to homage Zach. Wall of kits, dude. Got to have the wall of kits, right? And and
Careful.
depending on it's good for insulation. And depending on the project, if I'm
Yeah.
working on Machining Krieger, I'll rearrange it so only the Machining Krieger one's visible. Then when I'm working Gunpla, I'll swap them around. But uh, I don't need space for. I don't know if is this off topic yet. Am I getting into too weird a little detail?
No, it's fine. People are always asking me to make
Right.
videos about my workspace. I think people are interested in that.
Lighting is particular for both too. So for the photographic for
Yeah.
publication, shots, the
Mm-hmm.
lighting largely fixed,
Mm-hmm.
and it just needs the nice white background and everything set up on one side.
Mm-hmm.
But video, as Zach knows, video requires more dynamic and movable lighting because it's such a rolling, shifting target, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what we're showing, you need to move the lights in, lights out, and especially lighting my old face to get rid of the wrinkles. I might need some more, like specialist
Mm-hmm.
happening there. So, looking at those things, I was actually considering maybe sharing some. I don't know what style of video would work for this. I was actually going
Mm-hmm.
to ask your advice, Zach.
Okay.
I was going to show my version 1 setup as I'm leaving it,
Mm-hmm.
and then excuse me, and then take folks through my decision making process for adding things to my studio. building it up from scratch
Mm,
while using the 3 years of YouTube experience plus the previous Japanese studio experience and kind of trying to put it together. I thought that
mm,
could be somewhat interesting. What
mm.
would you say?
Yeah, that's something that, as we were just mentioning before we came on live, lighting has always been an issue for me.
Yeah,
And I was actually quite sad, again, kind of a double-edged sword of working full time, is that I was able to record stuff here during the day. I don't have to stay up late at night to record
right,
stuff here in the room,
right.
but I had to
Yes,
hang a curtain to cover my window
yeah,
because of inconsistent lighting during the day. So yeah, unfortunately, if you're going to be like working in the studio, you can't have any windows really, uh, unless. But if I think your face is lit, which is with the window right now, right? You're not using a light.
yeah. I don't have powerful enough light, and my studio lights is. Wait a minute, which way do I need to move to show? My studio
Mm,
lights are set up for the
mm,
photos just there right now.
mhm.
They're my studio lights, right? My
Yeah,
version. So I don't have proper video lighting. So when I shoot my intros for some of the
mm,
videos, yeah, I use morning light.
yeah. See that, and for shooting your face, yeah, just the natural light works so much better. Just if you
And
got a window.
I've gotten a lot better at post
Mm,
production and using the which you'll know what are they called again? The color, the
the
color panel, Premiere
color
Pro,
correction.
color correction. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. See,
yeah.
look, professional. Yeah. I've gotten a lot better at color correction because yeah,
Mhm.
it's shifting, and some days you're bright yellow, you're bright pink, you're all kinds of
Yeah,
cool colors, right? So I've
yeah.
got a little bit better at working with those things. Um, Actually having a cheap, crappy setup has really helped in learning
Mm,
those other tools. If I had everything perfect from the beginning, you
yeah,
wouldn't learn
yeah,
how to use the software. So,
exactly.
like you said, double-edged sword.
Yeah. The same thing, I mean, applies to everything, right? And especially in modeling, having not the right tools at first helps you to helps you innovate, try new things.
Not having the right color. Oh, I've got to mix. Oh
It's
no,
sort
you
of
have the color.
what for me, these anymore, it's like, uh, not mixing, makes me feel kind of bad. Like, if I use the paint just straight out of the bottle, I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, do I really wanna use this?" But the color is right straight out of the bottle, so I guess I'll just use it straight out of the bottle. I have to mix everything. Uh,
They never mix exactly how we want, do they? And those paint companies, I mean, it costs like what, a couple of dollars. They make some beautiful colors, don't they?
mm,
That's one thing I can probably mention. Is it wrong to mention that with that same publisher, I've made a line of sci-fi paints for them.
yeah.
Exactly what you were talking about, making a mix.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a self plug because I don't know if I'm really making any money out of this, but I was. They need a sci-fi paint range. I,
Mm,
you know, Sci-Fi Brother, the Sci-Fi Brother. I can't stand pitching tank and airplane colors for sci-fi. Like,
yeah,
I'd much rather not do that.
yeah,
Historically, we've done it because like Machine and Krieg is old, so
yeah,
that's all they had was the
yeah,
Mr. Color
mm,
old school paints. But nowadays, that's one thing. When I was working with the ammo guys before, I didn't like it that they wouldn't give sci-fi names to their paints.
mm,
Why not, right? It can be
mm,
the same color, but if we repurpose it with a cooler name, I think
yeah,
it adds a little bit more to the feeling. Instead of
mm,
using Russian green number 23
yeah.
or 1949, I'm like, why can't we make this? You know,
Mm,
um, get back in the robot Shinji purple, something like that.
mm, mm. We, I remember we talked about this a little bit at, the Mr. Hobby booth in Shizuoka. We were talking
Yeah,
about because they were rolling out a new line of paints that were like the exact, like, model number paints for some, like, World War II series stuff,
yeah.
and you're talking about that.
And I was like, why? 70 years old. We've got so many new cool properties coming
Yeah,
out. Can't we give them new names? I mean, they
yeah.
can be the same colors in a way, but there are some big differences though. The color vibrancy we need for sci-fi
Mm,
is different. Um,
mm,
as we know for Gunpla,
mm,
we prefer a different color spectrum to most
Mm,
of what the Western manufacturers are putting out right now. So I've
mm,
asked for more saturated paints and with more glossy finishes. Some of
mm,
the paints out now are a little bit too flat. I mean,
mm,
flat's fine too, but
mm.
just as a personal preference, I much prefer working with a gloss sheen from the beginning.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
panels, panel lines, everything, and then starting to reduce the sheen effects as the model progresses. It's
Mhm.
much easier than trying to build them up. Uh,
Definitely.
like, have you ever sprayed like Tamiya flat colors on Gunpla? It can still look good, but it
Uh,
takes that edge off that the Japanese guys don't have. You know, that
mm,
gloss beauty that
mm,
Naoki-san does.
mhm.
Oh, I love that look.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of satin kind of look to it.
Yes,
Mm,
exactly. And
yeah,
I find it's easier to come from gloss and bring it back down than going
yeah,
from matte going back up.
yeah,
That one's harder.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It
clean
just kind
too.
of ends up taking more layers, it seems like, and your paint ends up just
Yes,
getting
yes.
thicker and
But
thicker on there because of that.
paints are thicker due to the flattening agent required to make the paints flat in the first place. So
Mm,
I'm actually saving the money. They just don't need to add as much of that stuff to the paint.
yeah,
They paint in a more clean. It's not natural. What's the right word? But it's more when they make the paints, they're not
mm,
flat. Yeah.
naturally glossy, so they have to add something to it. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm really hoping that they'll be more readily available than some of the brands I use. Some of the
Mm,
stuff I show is not always available all around the world.
mm. Yeah,
So
so that's a good point that I wanted to ask you about too. The tools and the paints I know you're gonna be using probably as much as you can, a lot of the paint series that you're working on, but just the tools and everything else that you're gonna be using in the book, are you gonna be trying to use stuff that's pretty widely readily available? Like what
the,
kind of stuff?
they've been so cool about this.
Mm,
There was no asking
mm,
me to pimp or shill their
mm,
stuff. They
mhm,
anything you want from our range is just ask us. I'm like, cool.
yeah,
You can use anything you want. Just make it yours. Uh,
uh,
which was fantastic.
yeah,
There were I did speak with a couple of companies early on, and other companies were like, "No, you must just use our products."
yeah, yeah,
One of them only makes it's a nice hint. One of them only makes water-based stuff,
okay,
and they were the most adamant about it. No, you can only use some stuff. I'm like, dude, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. People
yeah,
know me for lacquers. Why would I drop that? It would just seem
yeah,
so fake, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so Uh, I can use whatever I want, which was
mm,
fantastic. It's really good of them. They just said, "Do whatever you want." And most of it, I'm trying to make it as uh, easy to get, readily available stuff, but also for each project, I'm planning it in such a way that they kind of. I'm hoping it'll work like pieces that you can rearrange them.
mm,
I'm not sure if I can pull that off. It's a little bit more complicated. Most other books I've seen like this, they tend to run through one or two processes
mm,
and that's it. And they just belt it out for 30 models.
mm.
I don't know if you've seen books like that, but
Yeah,
generally
I've seen books like that, but,
exactly.
other books, I think maybe more along the lines of what you wanna do with it. I think Mike Rinaldi's book is really quite good for
Yes,
talking more about the
it's
that kinda stuff.
yeah. Actually, I've just been speaking with Mike the past couple of days. He's such a good guy, isn't he?
Mhm.
As busy as he is, he's actually been like a mentor for me. I
Mm.
He never said yes and agreed to that. But I've seen some of the old models come up. I mean, I started using oil paints because of Mike, maybe like 2007 or so.
Yeah.
And he was sharing some of those works. That's why I was reaching out and saying, "Hey, yeah, more like that." They've been pretty free and open with it, so it's the closest I could get to self-publishing,
Mhm.
getting someone else to do all the hard work.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Well,
really, it's better because they're professional at the
yeah.
books,
All the
layout,
unfun work anyway.
at the layout. I can
Mhm.
make things, take the photos, do all of that.
Yeah.
Layout, printing. There's quite a lot to do, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
E-commerce of it, shipping it around. I mean,
Mm.
I can maybe learn how to do it, but in that time, I could probably use my skills to something a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
a lot of time away from creating the stuff that you're really good at.
exactly,
Yeah.
and, my wife's quite strict about that. I
Mm,
know it might sound odd, but anytime I get a little bit distracted, she says, "Stop it. You have a gift. Don't be a merchant. Don't be
mm,
this. Don't do that. Make cool stuff."
mm.
Which is
Aw.
I know, right? Um, I chose well, but,
Yeah.
she's here.
Oh.
The, "Hi, Tomoe." She's laughing, so shut up.
Points.
Yeah, yeah, she's sharp. She's quite sharp about that. She says, "No, no,
Mm,
you gotta, stay on target," kind of thing.
mm.
Answered your question, Zach. I kind of
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, yeah. Very, very much so.
So I'll try to keep the stuff, yeah, but I'm gonna use a lot of Japanese stuff too, just because I know how it works.
Mhm.
But as I can get more Western stuff into my workflows, I'll use them more, more and more. But I'm such a Japanophile, right?
Well, I
I'm,
think the
you know,
Japanese stuff is probably the most widely available stuff because a
yeah,
lot of the Western brands, like, you'll have, like, American brands that are really easily available in America, but in
yeah,
other countries, maybe not so much, and then European stuff is really accessible in Europe, but in
right.
North America, maybe not as much, so
I,
but
I wanted to say Japanophile is a gag. Um, my little girl says that because for those of you who don't know, I lived there for 25 years, and then I've been joking with my wife that it feels like 28 years now because we're in Australia, but my life is still Japan. I'm inside our home is Tokyo, so just
of
outside.
course, of course. It'd be hard. I mean, you can't, like, just go back and then you're just immediately, you know I wouldn't
Yeah,
say immediately back to your life before that, but you probably, like, just don't even remember or, like, you're not even used to what your life was like before that, so just
no, no, I can't. No,
yeah.
it feels like Tokyo has a lot more trees now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting moving back to the US for us later on, but
Yeah,
it'll be
but
something.
if I can suggest one thing,
Yeah.
is what's working for me is to go somewhere where you don't have memories.
Mm,
Because reality, what you're seeing and what you remember can't add up. It's
mm,
yeah, so I've tried to go to my hometown. I just can't get it. It's very
yeah.
difficult for me to see that place again. That's why now when we go in our visits to Sydney so far, we love
Mm,
it because it's new and we
mm,
can accept it for what it is,
mm,
kind of thing. I'm not sure if that makes sense yet, but
mm,
that one's been pretty good for us.
mm.
And
Yeah,
had a lot of Japanese stuff,
yeah.
so yeah, good for the family. Yeah.
Mm. So, uh, what's let's just talk about just your daily schedule, just your
Oh yeah.
making of content and stuff. I wanted to ask you, what's your normal day schedule normally go like?
Can you guys believe it? I'll grab this just for a laugh because I guarantee people think. Can you guys answer in the chat? Who thinks I'm just sitting here all day, just making stuff up and just cruising along? Because that's not how it happens. Tell the truth.
Sometimes he just goes away.
I would love if that was true because I would probably have imagined that a while ago too. But I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but I actually plan out most days.
Oh,
Here we go. Lighting. Some days are busier than others, but
impressive.
I plan out every single day, and
Mm,
where are we? With the maybe from waking until the work time with the different tasks I need to do, and then
mm,
priority tasks at the bottom.
mm,
The normal day, so 0500, I wake up. Um, Depending on how bad things are, how far I feel behind, I'll try to get a session in. I call them deep work sessions. Look
mm.
on your face is priceless, Zach.
5 AM, how to do that?
I know. I'm gonna. The trouble is with sharing this is I'm killing some kid's dream. I know about being bathed in sunshine all day.
Yeah,
The um, the thing is about being a successful creator is you need to work 3, 4 times harder than everyone else. I think isn't it like an kotobukiya, it's an expression, isn't it? To be able to work and do something
yeah,
like this means you have to work 3 times harder than everybody else. It's just
yeah,
the nature of the beast.
yeah.
Um, I schedule deep work sessions.
Mm,
If you guys are interested, there's a very good book by Cal Newport called Deep Work. In fact, all of his books are very good. He's done like 4, I think, but
Mm,
he's in the US. He's a university professor in computer science, and he
okay.
just investigates different things. And one of the things he was really interested in was how long can people focus on tasks per day? And
Mm,
it turns out, through a lot of research, not his own, just research that's available,
mm,
that people in the people in the focus industry, violin players, various kinds of artists,
mm,
programmers, what have you, have about 4.5 good hours in them per day before they're
mm,
wiped out.
mm,
So scheduling that across your day with breaks in between leads you to probably get out the best productivity that you can do. So I
mm.
know you weren't expecting that sort of answer, were you, Zach? So what I do is I schedule in between all of the stuff I've got to do. So I try to get some fitness in the morning, gym, run, bike ride, what have you, breakfast, school run for the kid. Then I hit the first session, take a little bit of a break. I try to get 2 of those sessions in before lunch and then another one in the afternoon. And then I put the softer targets towards the end. So I'm
Mm,
wrapping up work at about 5 o'clock every day. So I'm going from
mm,
about 5 to 5. And it's just I can't do anymore. I'm pretty
mm,
wiped by then. So I
mm,
put social media, answering things, replying to emails, paying bills, the minutiae of real life. I put
mm,
them towards the last couple of sessions, and I try to hit
mm,
2 sessions in the morning when I'm fresh. And I do
mm.
that. There was a time when I was doing this 6 or 7 days a week. It's when I've tried to do weekly YouTube tutorials or weekly YouTube work.
Mm.
It was just killing me.
Yeah,
Killing me. I couldn't keep it up. That's why
yeah,
to prepare for the move, you guys, I'm very sorry, but you won't see as much YouTube content for a little while. I've just
mm,
had to back off. You can't do it 6, 7 days a week. It's just too much.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
unusually disciplined and hardworking,
mm,
but even then, you if you keep dipping from the same well, eventually it'll go dry. Yeah,
mm,
so I needed to back off. So now I do this about 5 days a week,
mm,
and I found it's quite productive.
yeah. Well, no, that's really good, interesting to hear, but, like, this is something that I'm still needing to work on more. It's
But
a
you're new
big
to
thing for me to.
the self, routine, right?
What's that?
You're new to having the whole day to plan.
Yeah, where, like, a lot in the past while I
You're
was
a bad
teaching.
example, right? I've
Yeah?
got 3 extra hours. You've gotta get it all done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got, few more hours in the day now that I'm able to utilize, and so but, yeah, just the freedom of it, just planning everything. It's a little bit difficult to get used to. Not difficult, but it's just taking a little bit of time to get used to, just being able to schedule everything out, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to hear,
Uh,
like, how you're going
so
about it.
and it's just necessity, also, I didn't have deadlines anymore.
Mm,
I just had this open-ended thing of, I need to be successful and not be homeless. So, it's a good motivator, isn't it?
yeah.
So, um, I needed to learn these things. I've not always been this careful, and, I can't there's some days where I don't hit this.
Mm,
You don't have to do it this way, but I found scheduling and routine helps to free you up actually to be creative. I didn't
mm,
invent that. That's a common theme, but having a similar sort of schedule like that, it takes because how our brain automates a lot of stuff.
mm.
Being able to put stuff on automatic means that you can be creative in that moment. It frees up a little bit of brain
Mm.
space.
I'm very just in awe, but very jealous that you can get up and get to doing stuff at 5 AM. Yeah,
Well, it gets bright early here, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's a thing.
It's for
The
the best. I really wish
but
that I wish I could stay up really late and wake up really early, but
I know. But when I was in Tokyo, I couldn't wake up early like that.
mm,
Korea also quite late, like Japan.
yeah, 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 mhm.
What time are you going to bed? If I'm sorry for asking, but
Well, if it's a working night in
yeah.
here, then usually around 2 or 3.
Hmm.
And yeah, if I'm not working, if I'm just hanging out with my wife or whatever, then usually around midnight.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's standard, isn't it? And that's normal. 9 or 10 o'clock at night, there it feels too early, doesn't it?
No, yeah, well, I mean, I do occasionally fall asleep around that time, but, like, when we're putting the babies to bed,
Right.
because 'cause I'm, like, laying down with my son, and sometimes I'll nod off and then wake up at 12 o'clock. Like, "Oh, shit."
Just crash face down, right? Wake up with the drool on the thing.
Yeah.
This was it was one of the reasons for reorganizing, like, with Tabs, our daughter. She's 11 now. If I
Mm,
don't go to bed, she won't go to bed. So
really.
I do go to bed at 8:30, like 9 PM.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, it's hard to imagine, but,
yeah.
like, if I was able to get up and, like, actually work straight away in the morning, but yeah, I do think that yeah, I'm not gonna beat myself up too bad about it, like, "Oh, I wish I could get up early like Link," because I know that later, once my kids are a little bit older, it'll be different. It'll be easier to adjust the schedule that way.
Just to help you, because I feel bad now because this is just mine. But for example, Yokoyama Sensei, uh,
Mm.
he he's an all-nighter, wakes up crack of noon guy as a
Yeah,
creative. No,
yeah,
no problem.
yeah,
Anytime we would schedule work, it was a lunch meeting or later, and his
yeah,
lunch meetings would be like 3 PM kickoff.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'd have a whole day of work done before I'd go and see him. So don't worry, you're in good company.
Well, that's good.
And
Uh,
you're hyper productive, dude. No, you get so much done. I mean, you're
oh,
the man
yeah.
of productivity on videos.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
I mean, as we've talked about many times before, it's different kind of stuff that we do, so, yeah, I get a lot of stuff done, but the one thing that, uh, I think you kind of touched on, but I'm just wondering, just and I could just it's something I've just been meaning to ask you in general. It's, do you usually just kind of just, like do you, like, put your phone away or something? Do you just, like, stay completely, like, intentionally off social media for, like, most of the time while you're working until a certain time during the day?
I don't have a phone.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, I know. I don't have a phone, so I try to only touch social media when it's on the schedule. Once I've got a bunch of things done, and it's
Mm,
really hard because I'll come clean. My name's Lincoln Wright, and I had a Facebook addiction.
okay.
It's just so hard to put it down, and the way it works on a mobile device, it's
Mm,
putting a lottery machine in your pocket, right? Because you crack it out and, woo, 12 notifications. Woo, 23.
yeah.
Yeah, it's wicked evil. So,
Mm,
I rely on my wife to help me out with that now. So
mm,
I answer from a desktop.
mm. Well, that's
Put
good.
media onto a desktop, and it's helped me a lot.
That would be really helpful, just to make sure that you can keep that keep the just
Oh,
to
yeah.
keeping the time separate. Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
that's
There's something called, gosh, I've forgotten, sorry, I've forgotten English, no good. Yeah, I've forgotten what it's called, but there's something called, it's like a attention lag. So, if you're trying to multitask through multiple things at
uh,
once, a
yeah.
little bit of, attention residue gets left on each task.
Mhm.
And I'm not starting off with a lot, so by the time I've looked at 4 or 5 things, I'm
Yeah,
already down 20 IQ.
yeah,
It's like showing up to work drunk,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I need everything on deck.
right.
Yeah, so that's really been helpful.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
How about
I
you?
don't know if I've heard that name for that before, but yeah, I've certainly heard before about, like, multitasking actually makes you less productive
Yeah,
because
oh,
you focus
definitely.
on
I can't
yeah,
get anything done. That's why those deep work tasks especially,
mm,
everything's off.
yeah.
I need to focus and do my best at one thing, and I can only do one thing well, so that works.
There you go. Just focus on that one thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's just like, that it's not that I'm getting like, "Ooh, all these notifications, nice," but it's more of just that I want to, like, continue to be available for people, so, like,
Mhm.
just different notifications, people liking or commenting on stuff. Usually, I'll keep that until, like, later, like, I don't read my YouTube comments until, like, a specific time or something, but, like,
Well,
whenever I get messages, questions, people
right.
asking me, questions and stuff, I want to try to answer those as quick as possible because otherwise I'll just forget or I just don't wanna have to take all that all at once. So, like, during the day while I'm working, if I get a message with a question or something, I'll try to answer it as quick as possible. But, yeah, it does interrupt stuff. So
Right.
I've
Well,
been
can I ask,
mm,
do you feel I'm difficult to reach?
uh
A
no.
little, a
Yeah.
little.
No. But I was wondering just
Mm.
because I know sometimes you don't answer for a while. So I was wondering, I thought, oh, maybe you just have that kind of schedule where you
But
just only have a certain time where you do social media. So I
but you know what's happening, right? I'm off on the side going, "Oh,
No,
Zach."
no, no.
I get in
I certainly did not think that was the case.
well, one of the things I do, this may help you, I don't know, but I try to time cap it too. So if I'm gonna reply to all the people who ping me,
Mm,
um, I give it at like a 30-minute limit
mm,
because sometimes the tasks they end up consuming the time you give them, and if you approach them in an
yeah,
open-ended, it can take you all day, right? So I go 30
mm,
minutes, I log in, million messages. Okay, okay, go. And I
yeah,
zoom through them as fast as I can. And then when
yeah,
the timer goes off, I'm like, I'm out. And
yeah,
that's my amount for the day. It seems to work. I'm getting through pretty much everything. I don't
yeah,
like. I don't ignore people. I try to
mm,
respond to everything. But YouTube comments, I don't think I can be getting all of them anymore.
mm.
That's a separate thing, though, isn't it?
The hard one too that we're both doing is Discord as well, because it's like different from a comment section. It's just a constant conversation that like
Yes.
if you only check it once a day, you're kind of like not really a part of the conversation really well.
Don't want to dominate the Paint on Plastic Discord either. I feel that it's wrong. That's the place for them to talk
Yeah,
about stuff. So I'll
yeah,
try to help out. If people have tagged me, I'll of course
mm,
respond. But I don't want to dominate it, kind of thing.
mhm,
But yeah. So
yeah,
I try to add it
mm,
or certain times. But I actually speak with them once a week,
mm,
roughly. I do
mm,
a voice hangout. Uh,
mm,
it's kind of fun. Just my early Sunday morning seems to be
mm,
it's a good time for people overseas to have a bit of a talk.
mm. That's
Kind of
something I haven't tried, but I should look into trying that as well.
it's kind of fun because
Mm,
people are different.
mm,
You know what I mean. You don't know how to read their text sometimes when you know
yeah,
somebody via text or Facebook, but when you actually speak, you can hear each
yeah,
other's voices. You're like,
sure.
hey, you're a cool dude like me, even cooler than me.
Mm, mm, mm,
Jake
mm.
Fowler is watching this. Jake Fowler has the voice I want when I grow up.
What's that?
He
Nice voice?
Jake's a big fan of yours. He watches your channel too.
Yeah,
Jake's
yeah.
got a fantastic speaking voice. He just sounds
Okay.
he sounds very mellow, sounds very quietly intelligent. It's like how I'd like to sound one day when I fully mature.
Yeah, when you get to be an old man, and then you get to be an old man and realize, "Oh, my voice still sounds the same as when I was 30."
Did I people take pot shots at YouTube at me about my voice?
Mm.
I like your content, but you're really annoying. I'm like, well, sorry, how it comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, speaking of, chatting together, I wanted to ask you about your schedule of just when you're planning on going to Japan again, but most notably for me, when we can meet up in Japan again.
We're
When do you plan on going?
tentatively looking at going in February for Wonder Festival, but
Okay,
it might
cool.
be soon after the move. Um, or and if we don't make that one, definitely Shizuoka would be the next one. And dude,
Okay, cool.
Shizuoka's fun to aim for. It's fun, you know.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to going again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Shizuoka's more fun because Ryan comes, just does funny stuff. It's Ryan makes it so fun, right?
He doesn't usually go to Wonderfest?
I don't think he's been to Wonder Festival yet.
I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's kinda yeah, so 'cause, the Bandai thing for
mm,
Shizuoka,
mm,
One is it's a different sort of creature, isn't it?
mm. I've never
Kinda
been to Wonderfest, so I'm hoping to go next year. So if it's the winter Wonderfest, if not, then the summer one, but hopefully I
dude,
can go when you'll be
the
going.
at all costs, if there's one thing I can say, please, please, save yourself from Summer One Fest.
Okay.
Yokoyama-san always makes the joke of, there and Max, because Max's show is Max Watanabe.
Yeah.
He runs One Fest. He
Mm,
has massive stage show, and
Mm,
they always make the joke that it's always in one of the hells, summer hell or winter hell.
yeah.
Uh, but of course, coming over from the US and Korea, it's way colder there. But the
Mm,
February one is cold, but it's comfortable inside,
yeah, yeah,
and the all the guys pressed together smells a little bit less.
yeah, yeah.
Then summer one's just it's brutal. It's so hot there.
I can imagine, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
good advice. Well, so hopefully your moving goes well so that you can go so we can go to Winterfest there and hang out.
and it might be just a shorter trip. It's
Mm,
really good because the machining cricket stuff is really big at One Fest.
mm,
Like to do, and it should be a quick in and out too. It's pretty close to Narita if you go that way.
mm,
It's on the north
okay.
side there. That'd be
Mm.
cool if you.
I'm hoping to. Yeah, now that I have more time in the schedule, I don't have to worry about like asking for any days off or something. I'm able
Right.
to go. So,
You'll just suffer from crushing guilt every day you're not making something.
that's fine. 'Cause, I'm
Okay.
there. I meant of taking days off from school from being a teacher in my day
Ah,
job before.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. There was no guilt about missing school. That was fine. Yeah, and missing out on content because the great thing about YouTube is that they make it easy for you to work ahead. You
Yes, yes,
can
yes.
schedule content and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
They make it easy for you to, how do I wanna say it, to not take any days off from
Right.
uploading.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, how many you do? What are you up to now with your schedule? One daily.
I try to do at least one daily, but
Yep.
during the week, I'm usually able to do twice a day.
I
But
can't do that. Just my little rabbit brain can't think that much stuff to do or talk about. I
well,
can't.
luckily, Bandai and Kotobukiya just keep making tons of kits, so there's plenty of stuff to talk about. But yeah,
So that's why that schedule. I got to do my one thing. That's all I can do.
it's tough. Yeah, because one of my goals now is just more dedicated time to just more like building and painting stuff, not like reviews and things like that. But yeah, it's just hard balancing the time between everything. But eh, it's all right. Um, anyway, so now
Yeah,
we've chat.
I'm really sorry that there's no way I can reply to these things, guys. It comes up live comments, but there's no place to type into it. Is this then streamed out through YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can reply on YouTube, but I just wanted to say to those of you guys who are watching live, if you have questions for Linc, especially you can have questions for me too, I guess, but maybe just keep it mostly for Linc would be better. If you guys have any questions specifically for Lincoln, leave your comments now in the comment section, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that you guys might have questions about. But uh, yeah, that was pretty much the stuff that I wanted to talk to you about, just kind of your experience so far being a
Really good questions too. Thank you.
professional YouTuber. And I'm excited, the stuff that you got coming out, the book, the paints, especially. I'm looking forward to trying that out and all that. So,
Nervous too, because what if the colors are not right? I mean, it's
well,
because it's my name and backside on the line, right? It's so cool to do, but I haven't seen any test shots now since I've sent off the samples.
hmm,
I really hope they get it right.
hmm, yeah,
Yeah, I need to share that. It's not all bathed in sunshine. I'm really nervous about it because what if they come back and they're crap? Like, no.
hmm, yeah.
But
I
there you go.
That would be tough. I think probably the thing that you should be maybe more worried about is all the demands from people for when are you gonna have this color? When are you gonna have this color? When are you gonna make this color coming out as well?
I've got to be honest. I'm not sure I'm saying this with the right words. You got to help me out, okay? But
Mm,
3 years on YouTube, bro. I'm ready.
yeah,
You, if you need to toughen a kid up, it used to be, send him to the army or something. Get that kid on YouTube and toughen him
yeah,
up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No,
I'm
I understand. Yeah,
I don't mean it in a bad way either. It, uh, it's both fantastic to have direct access and to be able to see what your community or your audience thinks of your work.
Mm,
But it's also Yokoyama-san used to really built this one into me, right? He said
mm,
uh, it's like how Steve Jobs talks about it, that
mm,
it's not your audience's job to tell you what is good. It's
mm,
your
mm,
job, creator, to know what's good, what's cool, and you
mm.
help show them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that one has been pretty important. And,
Mm.
you know, some folks will never be happy. Some
Yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah, of course.
maybe not so much. So
Yeah.
YouTube has schooled me, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, I obviously very much understand too.
Oh, dude,
That
you know. Yeah,
that
that's
yeah, when I say that, like, you should be worried about this, or, like, when we talked about the frame arms girl
yeah,
stuff, like, "Oh, be careful, you're gonna get a lot of comments." I don't mean that in any way that should, dissuade you from doing what you're doing, and, like, those kinda things don't dissuade me. I know the reaction that I'm gonna get, but if it's something I wanna do, then I'm gonna do it anyway, it's alright, but just
ding,
yeah.
ding, ding. Remember?
Alright. So we have a couple questions here. Let's get to these questions
Oh,
people asked.
flashback.
People did ask some questions here. So, any thoughts on kappa? We talked about that met briefly before, but
Yeah,
no
it's.
thoughts.
I don't think it's really applicable to us. From our side,
Mm,
all we can do is click not kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and my content is not made for children. Clearly, I use solvent paints and sharp, pointy stuff.
Yeah,
And the kits I'm working on are reasonably complex too. So
yeah.
it's a big thing. Yeah,
Mm.
I
So
can't
far,
myself.
yeah, I'm the same. So far, as far as I've understood it, so far I've just marked everything just not suitable for kids, and that seems to be probably what is the right decision,
Mm,
I guess so.
mm.
Also, someone asked, "What's the name of the book gonna be?" Can you share that, or does that give away too much?
I don't think it's the right time to share it yet. Sorry,
Okay.
guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
I figured
given
so.
lots of hints, and it's their flagship series.
Yeah.
That should narrow it down a bit. But I need to have some respect for their side.
Mhm.
Uh, I, so I'm going to wait on that one.
Mm.
And it's so far off too. I I'm
Could
focused
change.
on making really good stuff for it. That's my part. Sorry, guys.
Be
So
link, uh, what could it be?
some guy
Uh,
makes all right.
Lincoln Lincoln on Sci-Fi by Paints. Anyway, Mike, asked what your favorite guy notes colors are.
Okay, they change. They change over time.
Kinda
I'm
odd question, but I
yeah.
have a couple
I
that I
have
really
0
like.
touch resistance.
Mm,
So it's Yokoyama-san would pitch me, "Oh, hey, what's your favorite machining Krieger design now?" I'm like, "Ah," and I just say whatever I was working
yeah.
on. So the one that I just used is medium blue uh,
Mm,
from Gaia Notes, and
mm,
it's got an ever so slight purple tinge to it.
mhm,
And wow, it's a really nice color. So that's
mhm,
one of my favorites right now.
mm.
Uh, there's another one called Azuki, and it's the
Uh,
purple bean color.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's,
from
from the virtual
Japanese.
online.
Boy, it's a beautiful color. I just haven't had an
Mm.
opportunity to use it yet. Um,
Right? Sorry, Link, that's from their line of virtual on paints, right?
dude.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It is
Yeah,
very good.
right.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, yeah, it's a really nice one too.
That would be my favorite one now, medium blue, but it will change
Mm.
quickly.
Man, you gotta love Guy Notes for their different lines of paints as well. Like, they got the virtual on paints, and they have before you mentioned the Evangelion color, they've got their line of Evangelion paints as well. So they've just got a lot of really nice, like, specific color paints, don't they?
It's really good that they're so open-minded. I think they've been so smart, haven't they? They've got the standard
Mm,
colors,
mhm.
and then they've expanded actually then with property-based colors, which
Yeah.
mm, gives us the right things that we need, right?
Mhm.
I think it helps in some ways to educate people on color usage by being able to match them up
Mm.
instead of just belting out more tank numbers like Mr. Color we were talking about.
Yeah.
Mm. I like tanks, but enough robots.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
Terry asked, we've kinda talked a lot about this. throughout the video, but what type of discipline do you need as a professional model maker?
The I don't know because I've worked with a handful of people and we're all quite different. Uh,
Mm, mm,
some guys were very much seat of their pants, but
mm,
but one of the biggest discipline is the um, constant work and the constant push, the drive
mm,
for ever incremental improvements.
mm,
You constantly need to be trying to get better. This is something that sadly I see people give up on quite quickly.
mm,
Not so much in our world, but I'm sorry, I don't want to say bad things about. But do you ever see people say, "I've got 20 years experience"? Like you're fine, but is it 1 year 20 times? It's you've got to keep trying hard. So for discipline,
mm,
that it's the discipline to be harsh on your own work and to
mm.
constantly strive to improve it. That's what's required.
Yeah, sure. Because you've got some people that have been modeling for 20 years and some people that have modeling for 2 years,
Mm,
and the amount of time clearly is not much of
yeah,
a
yeah.
issue. So,
Yeah, no, no, it's not a time-based equation, is it? It's an
mm,
effort-based equation.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yes, yes, 100%. Same with YouTube, isn't it, Zach? I mean, some guys YouTube for a really long time. Um,
yeah.
some people get quite good at it in a relatively short time. I consider you one of them. You got good quickly, and
And like, I'm really aware of when I can like, I can feel from
mm,
that when I'm not putting out, like, maybe a lot of really good or my best
right.
content. I can see that it's just kind of not doing that well, kind of, or whatever.
You feel
Uh,
the pressure and the need to improve it yourself, don't you?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
exactly that.
Yeah. So, that's a good answer. To be a professional model maker, or professional creator, or probably
Mm,
professional at anything, I would suppose. It just the drive to improve. That led me to think of another question I wanted to ask you about. That is, I don't think anyone has asked in here yet so far, but that I do sometimes get asked about is burnout. How do you avoid burnout, or do you ever suffer from burnout?
no, I don't. So the this comes up a lot. I'm
Mm,
careful about telling the truth
okay.
because, yeah, I'm not sure how to say this. Should I just smile and say, do other stuff? Because which version do you want, Zach? Come on,
I don't know.
totally.
I I don't really get burnout, f
Right.
and I think it's I don't really know if I really have a good answer why, but I think I kind of know why, but I don't know. Whatever you wanna say.
All right. So I've got two quick
Mm,
answers. Okay. The
yeah.
first one is the usual one I say if I don't really know people. All right. So okay. Look, just do something else for a while.
Yeah.
Do something else. When the feels come back, bounce back, get into it. Just do another high quality leisure time activity, and that reservoir will build up. Because it's a hobby. Well, why are you killing yourself if it's a hobby? Are you getting
Mm,
paid? Do you need to do it? No, we'll just back off and then do something else for a bit. Um, there's a quote out there, and this is not mine, but it's something like burnout or inspiration. So it goes the other
uh,
direction.
uh,
Inspiration is for amateurs. Professionals need to show up and just get things done. So
uh,
my the way I
mhm.
deal with it, if I'm not feeling particularly productive, that doesn't happen because I don't think about it like that. Of course,
Yeah.
it's like any job. You don't want to work. You don't want to go to work. You want to sit
Yeah.
around, watch Netflix. You want to flick the Xbox on and play games. I get it. But
Mm,
when I start working, though,
mm,
actually, the physical act of starting work and making things makes me energized and excited. It's actually the
mm,
other way around. I don't sit around waiting for it to happen. I sit
mm,
at my desk, pull the things out, and I get to work.
yeah.
I swear, every time because I've seen this coming up recently quite a bit. I have a
Mm,
bit of a giggle because then I go, "There you go, inspired." Um,
yeah.
it was just by getting to work, it got the juices
Mhm,
going. So I think sadly, some folks have been taught it's the other way, and that's
mm,
correct for them. It's better actually to just sit down and start fumbling through something
mhm.
feelings will come back. Then if it's really bad, though, back off, do something else. Play games.
Yeah. I think that's I mean that's totally the couple points that I'll make about that is the first thing that I totally agree. For me, it's just I just start working on something and
Do
then
it.
I'm good to go. Um, but I think you made a good point though that it's kind of like just being a professional, that it's just something that you're doing for work. But I think you don't necessarily have to be someone who's doing this as your full-time job to
Right,
think
right.
of it like that way. So,
So
there's
want
people. Mm?
to I don't want people who are not doing this. I don't want people who are hobbyists beating
Mm.
themselves up over it.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
concerns me. I'm like, no, dude, just back off. You don't have to keep going.
Yeah.
Fun, your fun. Don't make
Mm,
it anyone else's fun. And if you're getting the feels and you want to make it,
mm.
do it. Or go to museums, different places for inspiration. That's what I tell my wife. I must play video games because they're a great source of inspiration for me.
Well, it's too bad that you don't have a phone because my usual source of information is usually Twitter or
Right.
Pinterest.
Yeah, there's really good stuff there, isn't there?
Yeah. Like Twitter is a really great motivator for me because I'm just seeing everything that everyone's working on. It's always really impressive and cool ideas and stuff. And then Pinterest, I don't make a habit of checking as much, but there's a lot of really good sources of inspiration there as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think like there's a lot of I do also see people making the argument though that like I don't want to feel pressure. I don't want to feel any pressure to do my hobby any certain amount of hours a day because I don't want it to be a job for me. I just want it to
Right.
be just my hobby, which I can understand. And obviously, that makes sense. But if you're the kind of person that is worried about being burnt out, if you like feel, oh, I want to work on some stuff, but I'm kind of burnt out, then I would say, yeah, like you said, just start working on something like,
Well,
but but
Zach, if I can add one more thing.
yeah.
I forgot this one because I noticed this after our competition. We did that,
Mhm.
the Phantom Plastic Machining Creeper competition. Some
Yeah.
of the guys were mentioning feeling a little, they're tired.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things that I do myself is I do big project, small project, big,
Mm,
small project. Uh,
yeah.
that's just, you know, very simple way of doing it. So
Mm,
one of the things is, uh, I'm not sure the motivation behind it, but you know what I mean, right? Um,
mm,
we make our projects overly complex for no reason. We always want bigger, better, bigger, better, better. It's like game designers.
mhm.
More people, more maps, more guns, more everything, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Actually, after you finished a good project or you feel like you've maxed out and stretched yourself, drop back down and do something really simple.
Mm,
And that's a really good one. It's just, it's like athletes and peaking cycles
mm,
go hard all the time. So in my case, I'm working on this Volker project. It is quite complex. I
mm,
will do a simpler one in between and then do a
mm,
complex one. Sorry, I forgot to mention that one. That's a big part of it. The people choosing overly complex projects that might be beyond their gosh, I haven't got the right words to explain this, but um, outside of their capacity. So
mm.
it's like trying to, if you're a couch potato, it's like trying to get up and run a marathon straight off.
Yeah.
Like say, like the GBWC entries,
Mm,
the marathon,
mhm.
3 months.
Yeah,
If you go straight from couch to marathon,
yeah.
it's gonna be a really painful experience. If you
Mm.
to then crawl that 40, what is it in miles? We say 42K. What's a marathon?
It's 26, something like that, I think.
Okay. If you manage to crawl your way to the finish line in the marathon, you don't want to do another marathon straight off, do you? You need to just walk
Yeah.
to the store. So
And I've like yeah, I feel like it can very much be possible for people, but the
mm,
better way to do it would be breaking it down into simple things. So
yeah,
saying like, okay, I'm gonna focus. Like I want to do a really big project, but okay, the first step is just going to be this one part. So just only focusing on doing that part of it first, definitely. Uh, it's kind of interesting that you're talking about people wanting to like going into a project and want like that's maybe too big. For me, it's usually the opposite problem. Almost always go into projects thinking that all right, this is going to be something really simple, quick, easy, and it ends up taking so much longer.
what do they call it? The palate cleanser. This will be easy. Yeah,
No, never.
I'm very guilty of that one too. Something shiny. This one's a little bit difficult right now, so I'll just do this quick, easy one on the side.
Yep.
6 months later.
Yep. 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 Always. So I understand that. But yeah,
Mm.
good. Burnout's a thing that I think we could talk a lot about, and there's a lot to it. I think there's a lot of aspects to it, and I've been thinking about doing a whole video dedicated to that because people ask
Mhm.
me about it a lot. Obviously, I
Yes.
think there's a lot to that, so it's kind of more than I think we can really cover for the time being. But
And you're better suited to do it. I don't think I should do a video on that because I'll tell people, yeah, you're feeling burnt out, just get back to work. And, you know,
it's essentially the same kind of
dumb
thing
it
for me.
down.
Yeah. I don't know. Alternating, I think you're talking about alternating big project, small project, but for me, it's another good thing is just to have like honestly, YouTube has been really great for me because it's like two hobbies at once. I really enjoy the hobby of making videos, and then I also really enjoy the hobby of just building kits. So
Right,
being able
right.
to alternate between those every
Yeah,
day
yes,
means that if I was only making videos all the time, then maybe I would get burned out. But because I'm always able to just switch between them, is what always keeps it fresh for me.
nice, nice. And
And
they're similar but different, aren't they?
and yeah, it's very different things, but because they go together, I have to do both. I can't like just always just do one thing and not do the other. So a little bit necessity there as well.
Happy to, because I'll be honest, the video for me is like I enjoy it to a point, but especially now because I'm doing weathering, I've gotten to the
Mm,
weathering stage. I'm really
mm,
excited to get back to it.
yeah, that's that kind of thing that you really need the video to show that. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a good one.
Mm. Okay, let's maybe check here really quick, one or two more questions. Hi guys. Besides your upcoming book, Linc, what other Matt K books do you recommend? What other Machine and Krieger books would you recommend for people?
Oh, for learning, for entertainment, there's a few, right? I know this sounds like a self plug, but I make like no money off it, so it's not that. I put a list of books on my Amazon influencer thingy, uh,
Mm,
so they're there. Don't click through Amazon or buy them from me. I just did it because it's an easy place to put a bunch of products together.
just for reference, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and now it's just there forever because Amazon pays
Yeah.
for hosting it. So I've got a bunch of the Machine and Krieger books listed there.
Mm,
Because there's the Yokohama sketchbook I quite like. The
mm,
the I don't know how to pronounce it because it's a French word, bande dessinée. We just used to call it BD. We used to
uh,
call it the MAK BD,
mm,
and it's like a graphic novel version. That's one of
uh,
my favorites. I really like that one because it's
mm,
Yokohama-san bringing his stuff to life, and
mm,
that's the way he sees them in his mind. So
mm.
instead of
That's
copying
beautiful.
titles,
Mm,
I like to copy how he sees them because, in my personal opinion, I think he's a better illustrator because that's his
mm,
main profession than a
mm,
model. His
mm,
illustrations just really speak to me. That's probably my favorite. But then MAK modeling book number two, it's very good.
mm.
Um, it's difficult to follow in spots. There's lots of gems in there, but number one
Uh,
is number two, the way they take photos, the Japanese publications, they take small, difficult to see little
yeah,
photos
a lot of
and
really tiny pictures in there.
tiny pictures, and it's on a crowded, dirty bench, so you can't see what the subject is clearly,
Mm,
and then the little text boxes are all over the place. And then the final one is that Yokohama-san, he writes his text in a way like he speaks. It's not
mm,
You
mm,
kind of have to know him to understand what he's talking about. Most
mm,
Japanese people read his book too and go, "Yeah, I got no idea what he means." It's
uh,
it's but they're my favorites.
mm.
I don't know how to link that, but yeah,
The
they're favorites.
Mac K modeling book 2, you would recommend more than the first one?
Oh gosh, that's a really good one. It is. The old one has more vintage stuff. The new one has more accessible stuff now. So
Mm,
that's the
mm,
the difference. The
okay.
old one
Makes sense.
the old one's like an awful tease because it's got all these really old, unavailable resin kits in it.
Uh,
It had a lot of good fundamental things.
mm,
I'm I'm not sure how to say this, but one of the things is, right. the language barrier sometimes, this is not Yokoyama-san's book. I just mean Japanese modeling in general. The language barrier often gives more of an aura to what's contained in the books because you can't read them. It makes the
Mm,
stuff cooler. I think some people would actually be very surprised at how
mm,
simplistic many of the things are, uh,
mm,
almost to the point of being somewhat disappointed because
mm,
it's not as technically evolved. But it just depends, right? I like the retro stuff a lot. I
mm,
think that's why the folk I'm doing is full retro. Paper
mm,
masks,
mm,
painted ID bands, hand painted decal markings, that kind of
mm,
thing. Because I like the authentic look it gives it. But if people are looking for learning or education,
mm,
the Western publications are very technically advanced now. So
mm.
you might actually be disappointed by how old school or retro some of the stuff is. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are more
Mm,
new, but they're actually quite uh, old and simple, but executed beautifully. This is the big difference. And
mm,
it's something I really want to bring more to the Western audience is the
mm,
idea that we don't always need gimmicks. Some
mm.
of them are helpful, but it's the basics done very well that make models look really cool.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
definitely.
Sorry that was long, but uh,
Or not necessarily the basics they make the model done really well, but if the basics aren't there, then the model can't look
that's
really
very
good.
100% correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like even if you're like super good at like all the last like
Yeah.
everything like really super precise scribing and weathering everything, if you got a huge seam line down the middle of a part, then it's
I
just not gonna look
see
good.
a lot. People say, "But I used hairspray." I said, "No, no, bro. Hairspray used you." The it's yeah, just because,
Yeah.
you've used super good new modern techniques and copied somebody else's work, uh, because you haven't learnt how or why that was used,
Mm,
your interpretation of it has not been good because,
mm,
you haven't kind of earned it thing,
mm,
just, copy pasted it across to something. Uh,
mm,
this is one trouble, though, with the Western approach to teaching modeling. Some of those things, they list out the steps. Uh,
mm, mm,
buy this product from us here, do this. Buy this product from us, do this. It
mm,
ends up being quite copy paste. I think the Japanese ones are better at that, at least a little bit
mm,
more.
mm.
And the publishers tend not to be vendors. They don't make the products.
Uh,
Having them
yeah,
separate is good.
they're focused on, I guess just more promoting the modelers as
Yeah, yeah. It's
so
the
yeah.
actual content is key. That's why we'll see how I go. I mean, these guys are really loose and free with me. I can show whatever I want, but
Mhm,
it would be one benefit to doing like we mentioned Mike Rinaldi before, is that
mhm,
if you fully self-publish, everything's off, isn't it? You know that
yeah,
what I'm showing is just what I like.
mhm,
These guys have said yes to that, so far
mm,
so good.
mhm. Uh, let's take one last question here. Will you two host another contest together?
If we start drinking.
Yeah, that's maybe might depend on if we meet up for Wonderfest and get to knocking some back, we'll see what we can come up with.
I hope this isn't a bad opportunity to mention this. I actually don't drink. I only drank with the guys because it was Shizuoka. In my
Yeah,
normal life,
yeah,
there's no booze in my house or nothing. I'm actually pretty sober and pretty boring. I mean, you guys saw my schedule.
yeah.
Up at 5, I'm in bed by 9. There's no partying happening here. But I need to involve Zach more. Zach, like I've been on. This is a second interview. Zach's never. No one's been on my show. My show's so crappy. I'm so sorry, Zach. So I
Okay.
need to catch up and do something.
Well,
Um,
I know you've said that to me a few times, and we've talked about trying to brainstorm some ideas for that, but
I got
I don't
nothing,
know.
bro.
I'm as equally stumped on that one as you are. So, if we think of something, but I do have actually a pretty cool idea uh, that maybe we could talk about a sort of Matt K Gunpla Kit Bash project that I think could be kind of interesting. So, yeah,
I'm I'm allowed to be a Gunpla guy too now.
yeah, you've got my Gunpla guy seal of approval.
But it's funny how it swings, though, isn't it? Over the past 3 years, it's been, people knew me as the old people knew me from Machining Crew, MAK. Then
Mm.
then it was Grappler. Then it's swung backwards and forwards too. It's quite funny that. But I'm
Well,
happy to be involved. Anything I can do to help you and the community, Zach. Anything I can do. It's just fitting within those limitations of time, etc. Right?
of course, yeah. Well, I
Hoping,
appreciate you taking the time this morning, I wanted to say,
yeah,
because
I
I know
love
your schedule is
that
so
with you.
busy. So,
What you guys may not know though is Zach is huge in real life. On the screen, he looks like this, right? But when you meet him, he's actually a really big dude. I walked up, I was like, "Wow, you look like Zach, but huge."
I'm
Yeah,
bigger than what I appear on in the screen.
the screen. That's why I got my camera pointing down at me today. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm happy. But thinking of an idea, man. Of course, I'm going to provide you with a book as early as I can. I want
awesome.
you to be one of the first people to tell everyone how much you don't like it, and I want to get you a sample of the paints as soon as I can too. So I mean, that's some ways I can help.
Yeah,
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, of
early
course.
stuff.
Yeah. We'll be
Yeah,
very happy to try that stuff out. Definitely. Um, all
competitions
right.
though. I just finished one. I can't do another one for a while.
What's that?
More competitions out there. I don't know. You're really good at
Uh,
running. I'll do.
yeah, yeah, I've got mine that's currently going, but yeah, it's been for a while. I've been kind of contests for a while. So yeah, I might take a break from doing contests. I like doing them. They're fun, and I think it's fun for people in the community to get involved with something. But it
Right.
is a lot of work for me, kind of. So we'll see. When we'll do another contest together, maybe after your book comes out. Let's say something like that.
Sure.
When I'm sure that you're kind of able to take some time. But
I've got the sneaking suspicion that next year is things are going to grow more again.
mm,
I've got a feeling that things are going to go well, but it's a really good thing. I'm super happy about it.
mm. I think it'd be nice to see as well, just like you said, because you're gonna be working on Gunpla and Star Wars and whatever else you can try to get in. So it's just to see
Well,
working on.
spoiler, what I want to do is help also my Japanese friends get published in English too. That's one of the
Mm,
things I want to be doing. Once I've got some more clout with the publishers and can prove that the books sell, I'll
mm,
be able to invite more guests in, which
mm,
that's a big dream of mine. So it's not just about me; it's about it's step by stepping, just like with everything, like with YouTube.
mm,
Once you keep proving each level, you can then add another layer of complexity. So I'm really hoping that as the next level is I can get more people, bring them in
mm,
and put the spotlight on them, and help get some more of the our Japanese masters published in English. It's a big job, but me and my
mm,
wife are quite well suited. My wife's also friends with these guys too, so
mm.
that would be a cool next step.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah, that's one of the things I'm going. I hope it never comes across as just me, and self promo. I mean,
Mm,
but especially in the earlier days, that's all you can do. The
yeah.
only one I can pimp right now is me. So, but once I
Well,
start, yes, I can start doing more for the genre, the community, and for the masters that we're standing on the shoulders of.
mhm. I I know you get that. You get it somehow more than me, but the people, maybe saying that you're just only focused on yourself, that sort of thing. But anyway, we're not worried about comments, right?
Oh yeah, well, what can I do? Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Uh,
I've got a plan. Not everybody knows it, and that's fine. I'm just trying to do the best I can.
yeah, it's all good. Anyway, so all right, just to wrap up, anything you want to plug? Link, obviously your YouTube channel we've talked a lot about, but you've also got your Patreon, of course, very important. Anything else you want to
That's
mention?
the one that's gone really well. I mean, I said it in the thank you video, right? I mean,
Mhm,
YouTube has been fantastic for me,
mhm,
but if it was just YouTube, I
mhm,
could not have done it. I
mhm,
could not have done this without the support of Patreon. Am I allowed to say that? I mean, why can't I say it? Zach's a Pup Robot supporter too.
yeah,
Thank you very much, and you've been there forever. Thank you very much, Zach.
yeah,
So I could not have done it without Patreon.
yeah, yeah.
the reach and discovery and that the power of YouTube is fantastic. But
Mhm,
without Patreon to pay the actual bills of living and,
mhm.
and being able to stay alive to make the videos, it couldn't have happened. So
Yeah,
I can see there's a handful of Patreon supporters in there.
yeah,
Thank you very much, guys. It's just
yeah,
Patreon fantastic. That's the main one that actually drives all of the business now. If I
mm,
didn't have that, I couldn't have got the book deal either.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's a really core thing. So that's the
Mm,
one that's really working well. And I offer a bunch of stuff there, additional videos, the Discord chat, um, warm and happy feels.
of
Yeah.
course.
Thank you for considering, guys, and thank you for allowing me to mention that, Zach. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. By all means, guys. Any of you watching live, or if you're watching this later on, I'll put the link in the video description for Lincoln's
thank you.
channel as well as his Patreon. Check those out. Yeah, I've been a supporter for a long time. Happy to, because like I said, I tell you this all the time, but it's hard for me to keep up watching your stuff because I actually don't spend a whole lot of time.
52 videos a day. What? How much time have you got to watch someone else's? And my videos are long too. The tutorial ones are like 40 minutes long. I know you. I'm thinking, poor Zach hasn't got time to watch this.
But
It's cool. It's cool.
but uh, I'm always sure the Link's always making some good content, so that's why I wanted to do the first interview, and that's why I always love chatting with you. So I appreciate it, Link, and so I'm very
Thank you
happy
very much.
to.
It's perfect, bro. It
Yeah,
really is. You were there at the beginning of version one, and now
yeah,
kind of my wrap up of V1, and then
yeah.
next V2 we're kicking off. I'm super excited. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me back.
Well, maybe we'll do, if we can meet up at Wonderfest, we can do a
Yes,
in-person interview there
that would be
for
really cool. And one that's not killing your arms with holding it like that.
right. Exactly. All right, guys. So those of you who've been watching live, thank you so much. If you're watching this later on, just
Thank
thanks
you very much, guys, for coming in. Thank you.
in general, and we'll see you guys soon. I'll have now that this is kind of the first step in getting back into doing some more interviews, so I'll have some more interviews lined up. I'm at the moment planning on once a month, but I'm thinking if I can, maybe doing twice a month, every 2 weeks. I'll have to try
Cool.
to do an interview like this. So that's the plan for now. But those of you guys watching, I'll let you know when and who the next interviewee is going to be, either on my Facebook page or on my YouTube page. So just make sure you're following those. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, guys. See you. Bye.
Bye. All right.